Hello, welcome to Beyond the Loss, Conversations in Grief Education and Healing. I'm Shari Dworkin-Smith, that's SHARIDWORKINSMITH, and I am a certified grief educator, a psychic medium, and a hypnotherapist. I help people dealing with grief and loss to navigate their journey, and I have helped people better understand that their loved ones are still with them. I have worked with parents who have lost children, those contemplating suicide, and those who have lost siblings, all different kinds. There are so many different kinds of grief, and the path is different for everyone. Through grief education and coaching, I help people find meaning and value in their grief so they can do more than just get through it. Whatever pain or loss that you're carrying or someone you know may be carrying, the goal is always to lessen the pain and the trauma while hopefully finding meaning and even wisdom amid the loss. We may not always find understanding, but we aim for wisdom. We aim for purpose. As an evidential medium, I also help people who've lost loved ones connect with them in the spirit world and provide evidence so that they can gain peace and know that those people are still with us. And today I wanted to share something that was written by a very dear friend of mine who became a widow at a really young age. My friend, the endlessly talented Joanne Fink. She wrote, "Life is a sacred journey. Each step of our journey leaves an indelible mark on our souls. The challenges you have been facing have forced you to grow in ways that you might never have imagined. Before everything changed, before the curveball rocked your world, before your life veered unexpectedly toward an unknown destination, before you became so weary that you weren't sure you could take another step, before you began to open your heart to possibility, before you discovered that love makes the journey worthwhile. And now you stand here at the crossroads of your old life and the person that you are becoming. Celebrate the opportunity to re-envision your life's purpose. The time will come for your soul to soar, and transition leads to transformation, and you are on the path to wholeness." Here at Beyond the Loss, we do primarily talk about grief, and I know that's not a fun subject, but people continue to struggle with grief, and there are so few places where people can bring that to the fore and have an open conversation about what's going on. There are endless places where we're told to, shh, don't bring those things up, and this can lead to even more sadness, depression, and frustration. And so my goal in this podcast is to remind people that help is available. Now, if you or someone you know is struggling with a very deep sadness or extreme depression, please know that help is available through the National Suicide Hotline, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all confidential, no questions asked, simply by calling or texting 988. That's it, 988, and you will be connected to someone who can help. As for me, this is the work that I do as well. So if you're struggling and something I say resonates with you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at my website, sharidworkinsmith.com. There is a chat function there, and you can also find me on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and everything with me is confidential as well. We're all struggling with something. We don't have to do it alone. This is our safe space where we can navigate our grief journeys by sharing our stories and our feelings, along with gaining tools to help us move through grief in more meaningful ways. And I look forward to your calls, and I look forward to connecting with you. So whatever kind of grief you're carrying, whatever you're grieving the loss of a pet, a person, just something that's going on in the world, maybe you're just having trouble getting started in this new year. This is a place where we can talk about it, and I want to know what's on your mind. So as we get ready for our first caller, I want to remind everyone, as I do each week, that while those AI systems are super smart, they often have trouble spelling my name. I know it's not an easy one, so if you're looking for me, please be sure to check A1R Psychic Radio or Moonstruck TV on YouTube or ask1radio.com because they've got it right. Okay, so it looks like we've got Helen in Buffalo, New York on the line. Helen, thank you for being with us. Welcome to Beyond the Loss.
Oh, thank you for accepting me.
How are you doing? How can I help you today?
I like a card reading.
Okay, I'm sorry we're not doing cards on this podcast. This is Beyond the Loss. While I do card readings as a profession, but this is a time where we're talking about grief and grief education.
Okay.
Something that I can help you
Oh,
with there?
okay. Well, you got grief, don't you? With the what do you call it? Here you talk.
Hello?
Hello. And who is this?
I don't want to do that shit.
All right. Hello.
Helen, I appreciate
Hello.
you taking. Hello. Yes, hello.
Oh no, I was trying to see if my son wanted because he had a friend that passed on.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Something like that affects the entire family for sure. And if he's not ready to talk about his grief and certainly not want to do it in a public way, we understand that. That's okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, is there something regarding this passing that we can help you with?
Well, do you speak to the person that's deceased?
Well, I am a medium, yes, and I do have those
Okay.
abilities. But again, this is a podcast about grief and grief education.
Oh,
So we're
so
primarily
it's only about grief. So you're not really talking to the spirits then.
we're not so much talking to the spirits today. And I do understand that on A1 Psychic Radio, A1R Psychic Radio, we are the anomaly, that most of the podcasts are here doing mediumship and cards and things like that. So I totally understand the confusion. But we're trying to do something a little bit different because so many people are really struggling with grief and they maybe don't understand how it shows up in their lives in a variety of ways, which is, could be exhaustion or frustration. It could be depression, it could be hunger, or it could be lack of hunger. There's a lot of different places where grief can show up.
Or it could be anger because the person didn't get the help they needed when they should have got the
Yeah.
help they needed, but they were scared to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And a lot of people don't even realize that help is available to them. I will tell you a quick story that grief can even show up in dark humor. Dark humor. My girlfriend had lost her spouse very recently, and I went with her to help pick out the urn, and it was quite humorous as we were making jokes about all the different choices that were available, and not to be disrespectful to the wonderful gentleman that was helping or to people who are in that industry or others who've had the experience. But grief can manifest itself in all kinds of ways, including dark humor. So sometimes we just
yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
So
You got to
well,
have a sense of humor. You got to have a sense of humor through it too to get through it.
that's the truth, isn't it? So now you said
Yeah.
this was your son who had. You said this was your son who had lost a son. Is that? Do I understand that correctly?
No, he had a friend that passed away.
Oh, he had a friend that passed
That's what
away.
it was.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it seems
Yeah.
like there's some anger that's there for him as well.
hmm
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, I
sometimes,
know that. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and especially if it was unexpected, because it feels like this may have been an unexpected passing with his friend.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that can be so jarring to our systems because we're just shaken out of our regular, path going along in our day to day. And it's it could just really shake everything, not just our belief systems, but our whole energetic systems to be like, whoa, what just happened here? And one of the things that is very helpful in those kinds of situations, especially since it feels like this is someone that was close to your son, is to be able
Yes.
to talk about his friend. Because I feel like I'm understanding that you also knew this person that passed away. And to be able to share memories of, hey, this reminds me of the time when, you and your friend did da 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 da. And sometimes those things can be helpful because in grief, we can often see people go one of two ways. In one side, they can go towards, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to mention them. I don't want to hear their name because I'm afraid that all of those things are going to throw me over the edge. And then we have other
Yeah.
people who want to talk about their loved one all the time. They want to keep that memory alive. They want to keep that energy alive. And some people will even talk about them as if they're still here. And while that can be
Oh
very
yeah.
helpful, we want to make sure we're not transitioning into something that might be denial or delusion to act as if they were still here. But it's important to allow ourselves to talk about our loved ones so that they're not forgotten.
I guess everybody has different ways of dealing with it. Some talk about it, some don't want to talk about it. They close off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know all that. Yeah.
That's 100% right. For you as
Okay.
a
And what?
supportive mother, you can speak about his friend, and that could create a safe space for him to know that you're someone he could talk to as he's working through these difficult feelings.
Oh yeah, he knows that. Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
I
good.
got confused. I thought this was going to be like a reading, but it's okay. It's interesting. It's stuff you got to deal with anyways. It's good. Yeah.
Right. And again,
What's
I
your
know
name?
I'm the anomaly here on the radio station. I know everyone else is doing the psychic work and all of that, but this is something where we wanted to create something different because
Okay.
there are many people that are just out there grieving and they just don't know where to turn. And so if we can maybe be a little bit of a light in that darkness, that's what we're here for. And so I'm sorry that we
Oh
weren't
yeah.
able to, give you specifically the card reading that you were looking for today. I do
Oh
feel
no,
like
it's
I
okay.
tried to put a little bit in there, and it does feel like there may be some. Are you having some back issues, Helen?
Yeah, I have back issues. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like I want to give some extra care to you right now because I feel like I'm feeling some pain in the back for you, and just wanting to just send a little extra light that way for you, and just to remind you, especially you're in Buffalo. I know that area. I went to school in Rochester, so I know how cold and icy it can get up there. So as we're coming
Oh yes,
into
it is.
the heart of winter, please be sure you're taking care of yourself and being safe because I do feel like there's some back issues there, and I want to make sure that that you are taking good care of yourself. Okay. Just
Okay, thank you. And what's your name?
I'm Shari, and actually, before I let you go, they are asking me, and when I say they, I mean my guides, they are asking me to share with you a very gentle stretch that could be beneficial for you, just very gently as you're sitting in your chair to just turn a little bit. And if you can reach the arm of the chair and just pull a littlest bit and just give a little bit of a stretch on each side that can stretch out that
Okay.
lower back is what they're asking me to share with you. Just to be, we don't want you to push yourself, but just to give yourself a little bit of that stretch. Okay.
Okay, I'll try that. Okay.
Good. Well, I wish you all light and blessings, and thanks for being part of our conversation today.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Have a great day. All right. Well, while we're waiting for our next caller, let me take a minute to explain perhaps where it was that this podcast came from. We all had loss. And for me, certainly no shortage. My grandparents are all in the spirit world. My husband's parents are in the spirit world. So we have 6 wonderful people on the other side who are, cheering us on and trying to support us each week, every day. And also, we have in my family what's called an auxiliary grandmother, my grandmother's sister, my Aunt Dora. She's always with us to help to guide and to lead and to be someone who is of support for us. And then there are those people that we've lost along the way that were more sudden. My very dear friend Michael, he passed. He was diagnosed with cancer, and as much as I love Michael, he could be a bit of a stubborn bugger. And Michael had, by the time he went to the doctor, he resisted. And by the time he went to the doctor, he had been diagnosed with cancer that was pretty much everywhere. And his funeral was a mere 6 weeks later. And I really had a lot of struggle with that loss. I really had a hard time to get through it because it felt so sudden to me and it felt so unexpected. And there was not really anybody that I could reach out to understand. And we lived very far away from each other. And I really did struggle. And it sent me into a very deep depression, which in a whole nother story led into my journey to becoming realigning myself with mediumship, which is something that was part of my life as a child. And you can read more about that on my blog on my website. But it was my journey through grief with Michael that really brought me to some great teachers, including David Kessler and some other amazing people. And it was what led me to becoming a grief educator, because I really understood that for so many people dealing with loss, there just isn't a resource. And there are no podcasts like this. Now, Anderson Cooper of CNN, who I love, is doing an amazing podcast called All There Is, as he has been working through his grief over the death of his mother and other things in his life. And he's asking people to share their stories and to explain and share the things that are helping them. And having been certified and worked hard as a grief educator, this is something I feel like is important for us to share. So here we are, and we'll just see how it goes. So I'm told that we have Suzanne in Halifax, and let's talk to Suzanne and see how we can help her today. Hi, Suzanne. Welcome to Beyond the Loss.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Hi, how are you? I'm fine. Yeah.
Good. How can we help you? We're talking about grief and healing today.
Oh.
So how can we help?
Okay. I
Is
mean,
there-
it's not really, I'm not really grieving extremely. It's been a few years since my father passed, but I do feel him. I'm very intuitive as myself, and I do feel, I hope he is, around. We've moved since he's passed, and like quite far actually from the rest of the family, actually. So I guess that could be part of the grief thing, because it's not, I am missing everybody.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So,
Just because you moved away from where your memories of your father were based, and moving away from family can be, pluses and positives and negatives there. But just because we have moved away, I tell people it's not like Santa Claus. Your father knows
Right.
where you are, regardless of where you are. They know where you are, which is really very beneficial and helpful. And having those memories of things that you did with your father, or pictures of times when the family was all together, those things can be so helpful for really keeping the energies close to us. And especially if you are quite intuitive, which it feels like is there some nature or wildlife preserve that's around you, Suzanne?
not directly near us, but being on the East Coast, we are surrounded by nature. Yes.
Okay. Because it feels like
So
there's
yes, I would say.
trees, like mature trees. These are not like, I put trees in my garden, or it feels like there's mature trees around you with broad roots, like trees that may have been there for like 100 years is this kind of energy that I'm feeling.
Yes, you are exactly. Yep.
Okay. And because I feel as if I'm walking through the trees, but I'm very clear that I'm not walking alone. And in this, it feels the wisdom of not just the trees, but the wisdom of the energy of your father as well. And it is really something that that feels that you are. So it's as if I can feel this hand on my shoulder, that I know that you're not alone there as well. And then your father also had a brother that preceded him in passing. Is that right? Where's the brother?
Well, there is a younger brother. We have, unfortunately, there was a falling out from his family, so he hadn't actually heard from him for many. We don't even know what happened to him. So, to be honest, yeah.
Okay, so that
we don't know.
I am aware of another energy that's with your father's energy in the spirit side, and it is there is a mending. I'm aware that there's a mending that's there for you, because I'm not feeling a fallout energy. So I do want to say that there is a mending that has happened in the spirit side. There's also there is some grief around. Now, this is a little bit of mediumship coming in here, which I'm, certainly never opposed to, but there is something about another, like a young energy, as if there was a miscarriage or something like that had happened. Could have been a termination in pregnancy that is close to you, but I'm not convinced it was yours. But there is that energy as well, as if there was an unborn child, that an energy is in the spirit side that's revealing itself as well. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yes, I believe so. Yes. Yep.
Okay. And so they're just all wanting to, they're all wanting to let you know that everyone is fine and everyone is there. And we're not going to get too much into the mediumship because I do want to stay in the grief side. But the part that's coming through is that I'm aware that there were some unresolved grief issues there, that we have some things that were buried, pushed down, if you will. I just don't really want to, I'm just going to wait till it doesn't hurt so much anymore and I'm going to move forward with my life, right? And so there's some, let's say, I want to say bad habits, but we never want to be judgmental, that have shown up in your life maybe in the last 10 years or so that are a little less healthy because we're using those things to cover. And it's not an unusual situation where I'm just like, some people eat, some people don't eat, some people, exercise, some people stop exercising. We handle grief in so many different ways. But what's being asked for me to share with you is more about encouraging you, because it feels like there's a pause right now around you where some folks were having some drama, there was illness. I know you said your father passed a little bit ago, and there's kind of a calm right now where everyone is okay. And there's a moment where I'm being shown this is a time for you to take care of yourself and to be able to put more of the focus on your own self. Does that make sense for you?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay. And so this is where they're talking about is to take a step back, especially as we're in this new year. And I'm not a big believer in resolutions and all that. I think it just puts a lot of pressure on us to live up to someone else's expectations. But to be able to put an idea that says, let me just take a step back and put my focus on myself. And what is it that I would like to see myself be in the next 3 months, the next 6 months? Was there a new class I'd like to take? Is there a new habit? And I know you're in Halifax, so I'm not going to recommend going out walking outside, but it's, where are where are some things that you can do that would fall in the category of self-care that would really allow yourself to do a little bit of deeper healing for yourself? Now, I'm going to just leave that hang out there for a second because I also want to talk to you about writing about poetry, because it feels like there's some kind of poetry or lyricism, something around you. Where does that fit in?
Poetry, you're saying?
Poetry, like writing or poetry?
Yeah.
I mean, I keep journals. I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Journals as in not a diary like a teenager would, but like just thoughts.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So have you have had a lull in that for some reason? Because I want to invite you to come back to that. Maybe a nice, clean new one for 2026 to just really, as you're sharing your thoughts, to really look at how can you be super honest with yourself? Because nobody else is going to read it. How can you be super honest with yourself with how it felt when, you had these different losses that were around you? And how would you, with hindsight, how can we do things differently? Or what feelings can we let go of? Because even in your father's passing, and it does feel like he was someone with great respect, that, knowledge, and he was someone that was respected, but it does feel like there were some challenges there at the end as far as like having some cross points with people in the family that led to some frustrations. And so it just feels like there's some unprocessed little nibbles of grief. I'm not feeling overwhelming things, which is good, but it does feel like that there's some little nibbles that maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea if you could get them out and just release them from your own energy to help your own energy flow a little better. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. I do. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
I do.
What I suggest to my grief work clients is a nice new journal that's fresh and clean, and it's just for the new year. And I also suggest a new pen, because we can get these regular old not fun, but just kind of clicky big pens. But if you have a nice pen that you dedicate, you attach it and clip it into your journal, it makes the writing experience more meaningful. And I know that can sound like maybe a little superficial. It doesn't have to be expensive, but something that is your dedicated pen that says, this is my writing just for my journal, and I'm only going to use it for that, so that it gives it that more clear and more like special intention for that. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, good. Well, I hope that that is helpful for you. And I really appreciate that you took some time to talk with us today.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. We're sending lots of light and blessings your way.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I know we have the majority of the folks that are here on A1 our radio that are looking for readings or card readings or psychic things or anything like that. If you're looking for that, for me, you can find me live on my Facebook page, facebook.com/empathshari, or if you put in my name, it'll come right up. You can find me there on Mondays at 4:30, where I do share channeled information from Spirit and collective card readings for the week, and as well as individual card readings. And those videos are also posted on my YouTube channel. If you like this podcast, please do feel free to share it with a friend or anyone else that you think could benefit from listening. As we continue to move through this tumultuous time, remember that your feelings are valid and grief is normal. And if you're looking for a mediumship reading, then chances are good that you're still carrying some kind of grief as well. Grief is not linear. Some days are going to be good and some days are just going to outright suck. And if you need help, please don't hesitate to reach out to ask for it for myself or someone around you. If you'd like more information about the work that I do, please be sure to visit my website at sharidworkinsmith.com. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to do this work and to meet with you each week. And though, again, I know our majority of our listeners are looking for psychic readings and mediumship readings, if these are things that you're looking for, it may be worth it for you to ask yourself, am I looking for these things because I'm carrying some kind of grief? Because most of us are carrying something, even if it's just as we were talking with Suzanne about just little nibbles of grief that are just kind of hanging around, still gumming up our energy and clogging up the works. So thank you for allowing me to be here with you as we all continue to navigate the complex emotions that are, out there in our world right now. It is a very emotional and tumultuous place right there, out there in the world right now. And so thank you for taking the time to be here with Beyond the Loss. And I look forward to seeing you next week.